I know you've written an article about this, Curious with it, examining Jim Schwartz's plan for the secondary and how he uses personnel to cover the slot. Take us through that and what you found in writing that article.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, and you can go all the way back to Newsom's drama with mentioning not wanting to play in the slot and then kind of changing his tune after his meeting with the Browns. But in Schwartz's defense, he doesn't really ask the slot defender to have as much of a role in the run game as typically you would ask a slot defender to do, or a slot cornerback. I went back and looked at the 17 Eagles, and 53% of the time cornerback lined up in the slot, 34% of the time safeties, and just 9% of the time linebackers. Then, kind of for comparison's sake, with a 17-game schedule, looked at the Titans, who had some fingerprints of Schwartz on their defense last year. It was inverted. They only played 39% of the time cornerback in the nickel or in the slot, and then 52% of the time it was a safety. 7.5% of the time it was linebacker. Then we look at the Browns last year, 46% of the time a cornerback, 37 safety, and the highest number, which something I expected changes, kind of the outlier here, is the Browns used linebackers 17% of the time to cover the slot. Not ideal, Joe Woods there. Now you look back at that Eagles team, they had a true nickel cornerback in Patrick Robinson. So that's probably why that cornerback percentage is so high there. But I think that you'll see that cornerback percentage look very similar with this defense, as they have three corners they're going to want on the field most of the time. So whether it's Denzel Ward or whether it's Greg Newsome, they've lightened that run responsibility in his scheme a little bit, although you're still going to have to play the run there, but not necessarily be responsible for a fit. And then, they can come inside and worry more about covering the wide receiver or tight end or running back, whatever you're going to deal with when you're in that nickel defense. So, with the Browns cornerback room, I highly expect to see that percentage go way up on the cornerback.
And the other thing is, when you're getting pressure on the quarterback and creating chaos at the line of scrimmage, which Jim Schwartz defenses want to do, it makes covering the slot even a little bit easier.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's what's really interesting too is, and kind of why I wanted to look at this, is because of Rodney McLeod, right? Like, we hear all this good stuff about Rodney McLeod, so now it feels like you have three really good safeties too. So how do you, are they going to roll with three safeties, three corners? So that's kind of why I wanted to look at it. And you find some numbers that are pretty much don't really tell much of a tale, other than that when they did have a true slot corner, they leaned towards cornerback. So I would think that would be the case this year with the Browns. But the crazy thing is to think about is, you got to think that Schwartz is going to want McLeod to be on the field a lot. So, do we see a lot of that dime too? And how does he work that in? So it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, he's very good at finding matchups that he thinks works, and that will be a very welcome sight on a Browns defense.
Yeah.